accent training. Welcome, it's Michael Roberts from the British Accent Method, where we help non-native English speakers go from fluent pronunciation to native pronunciation in 3 months using the British Accent Method. In this English pronunciation training, I'm going to give you a mini version of a training that I recently did for students in my British Accent Method coaching program, where I gave them a framework that they could take and apply to any word that they wanted to master immediately in the English language and use just like a native. So the framework that I gave the professionals in my English pronunciation coaching program showed them how to take any word that they want to pronounce with confidence. This would usually be a word that they use in their profession. For example, if they're a doctor, the word might be something like diagnosis, or if you're a lawyer, the word might be mitigation, for example. Any word that you want to pronounce with confidence in English, the framework that I gave the professionals in my coaching program showed them how to take that word, remove any pronunciation mistakes that they might have of it that are stopping them from using the word clearly, and then how to take the word and apply connected speech, intonation, rhythm, and everything else that they would need to apply to that word to use it just like a native. So that's what I'm going to cover in less detail today than I covered in my coaching program. When I did it with the clients in my British Accent Method coaching program, it was a 2-hour-long training, and I worked with people one-to-one on the call. Everyone worked through an example of their words, and I worked with them to actually implement it. Obviously, I can't do that with you today because I'm not actually on a Zoom call with you, which I was when I was doing my coaching call in my coaching program. But I still want to give you as much value as I can today and give you this framework so that you can then start applying it to your own words in English, so that you can immediately boost your confidence. And then if you want to join my program and work with me personally on your pronunciation and get access to regular trainings like these, then I'll just give you a link now where you can do that, or at least get all the information. If you go to, can you see this on? Let me turn off the light here. I'm doing this in a different location today, hence the background. Right, cool, that might be better. If you go to, can you see this? Okay, I'm gonna put a link on the page, but essentially if you go to, let me see if I can, I'm just gonna see if I can get this link up for you. It's kubob.com. I think we're having some issues with the brightness of the screen. Yeah, okay, this isn't working. If you go to britishaccentmethod.com, that's britishaccentmethod.com, and then you go to the section where it says course, at the top of the website, you can see all the information about my coaching program, and that includes the coaching sessions that I teach these frameworks like you're about to get now, okay? So let's dive in. I want to give you maximum value today. I don't want to waste any of your time. So let's dive right in. Thanks for joining me. I can see there's lots of people joining, so let me know in the comments where you're from. Obviously, depending on what your native language is, you might face different challenges in English. So if you let me know where you're from in the comments, and there's any relevant information I can give you for your native language, then I'll be very happy to do that. I'm fighting for your confidence in English. I believe you deserve confidence like a native. That's why I run the British Accent Method English pronunciation coaching program. That's why I run this English pronunciation YouTube channel. So I'm going to give you as much value here today as possible. Let's dive in. Hey Sam, how are you doing? Let me know where you're watching from today. It's great to have you back, and thank you for being Sam. Cool, so let's dive in with the framework. So essentially, as you know in English, there are different elements to English pronunciation. And the way that I teach English pronunciation, or the way that I see people being able to make the biggest improvements in the least amount of time, isn't necessarily just by studying pronunciation on its own, but it's by building what I call a native English operating system. And what that means is, we all have a way that we speak our native languages, and each language is different, which means that the operating system of your native language is different to English. Okay, think of it like an Android phone and an Apple phone. You and then you try and download it to your Apple iPhone, it's not going to work because it's the wrong operating system for the app. English pronunciation is like an app, and the way that you use that app depends on you having a native English operating system. So if you try and improve your pronunciation but you lack a native English operating system, you're going to struggle to actually integrate English pronunciation into your real English speaking, which is where you want to integrate it so you can use it confidently. So the British accent method specializes in building you that native English operating system so that you speak English like a native, which then makes it much easier for you to actually take any English pronunciation improvements and then integrate them into your English speaking, okay? And that involves a lot of different things, but just a few of them I'm going to go through as part of this framework, okay? So let's start with a word. I want one of you that's watching this right now to put a word that you would like to master like a native in English in the comments. And because I know there's lots of professionals watching this, and it's primarily professionals who we work with at the British Accent Method from all different professions, I would like the word to be a word from your profession. I see, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name there, but I see someone's put dry. I would like a more complicated word, a longer word, a slightly more academic word, because that's when you're going to see the true power of this method, okay? And I can choose a word for you if not, but I want one of you to choose a word just so I can give you maximum value for being here live on the call today, okay? And just while someone puts a word in, just to let you know, if you go to britishaccentmethod.com and join my program by the end of this week, I'm going to give you a free bonus, which is I'm going to personally analyze your pronunciation and tell you exactly what you personally need to do to transform your pronunciation, okay? My hourly rate these days is £1,000 an hour, but I'm going to give you a personal analysis of your pronunciation for free if you join my course by the end of the week. So there's a massive bonus there. That's going to enable you to actually make the biggest improvements in the least amount of time by getting off to the best start possible and knowing exactly where your weak spots are in English pronunciation. So if you're interested, britishaccentmethod.com, the course is there. Just click the button that says course or program at the top of the page. And then you will get that added to your membership in addition to all the other benefits you get when you join the course, okay? So I'm just waiting for a word in the chat, and I'm just going to grab a water whilst that word comes in. It's right here. So let's get a word on screen, and then I'm going to start working with it. I'm going to start working through the word with you right away, okay? Right, I've got the water. I'm going to have a quick drink, and then if there's not a word by the time that I have got the drink, then we are going to I'll choose a word. Okay. Right, let's have a look. Okay, cool. So how do I pronounce your name in English? Whoever's given me the word academic, that's a really good word, and I'm very happy to use that. Okay. Cool. So the word here is academic. This is the word I'm going to go through this framework with you here. Okay. Academic. How do we pronounce academic like a native? Well, there's a few things. First of all, we need to know how many syllables are in this word. Okay. So I think the comments are coming through a little bit delayed, so I'm not going to waste time waiting for your answers, but I'm going to ask you questions as we go through this exercise, and I want you to answer them in the comments, but also just think about the answers as I'm going through this training with you. Academic, how many syllables are there in this word? Okay, have a think. Academic. Academic. All right, we've got a-ka-de-mic. Okay, or academic, all right? I would say there's 4 syllables in the word. That's very important because the first thing we need to know about is how many syllables are in the word, so we're not dropping syllables or adding in syllables. A lot of speakers of certain languages will drop syllables, especially weak, unstressed syllables. And speakers of other languages, in particular Korean and Chinese, amongst others, but these are two that I have a lot of experience working with professionals from, will often find that they will add in extra syllables when they're speaking English because of the kind of English consonant clusters that we get coming together. In English, it's possible to get multiple consonants coming together over syllables, which you just don't get in those languages, which can often lead to people adding in unnecessary syllables, which we don't want. So the first thing is, how many syllables are in this word? And the answer is 4, okay? The next thing is, which is the stressed syllable in this word? English is a stress-timed language, which means that it goes between stressed and unstressed syllables. And knowing how to stress words is very, very important, because if you don't, even if your pronunciation of the sounds is unclear, your pronunciation could still be unclear. And stress is a big part of how to build your native English operating system, which is what we specialise doing in the British Accent Method coaching programme. Okay, so stress. I'm going to say the word 3 times slowly, and I want you to think about, where is the stressed syllable? Stressed syllables in English have 4 qualities. They're louder, they're pronounced with more length, they are higher in pitch, and louder, longer, higher pitch, and what's the other one? I've drawn a blank. Produce with more force. So if you put your hand in front of your mouth, you will often feel more airflow coming out your mouth when you release the stressed syllable in the word, okay? So have a listen to the word. Academic. 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 Okay, is it immediately obvious where stressed syllable is here? If not, let me tell you. Hi, Next Level English, thanks for joining. Good to have you here today. Let me know where you're watching from. So the stressed syllable is dem. Academic. Academic. And here's how you can think of this. If we, when I work with clients in my program, and I'm giving them feedback on their pronunciation, I often teach rhythm to them, which includes the stressed syllable, like this. If I was just not pronouncing sounds here, but I was just pronouncing noises to indicate the syllables, the word would sound like this. Nurna, 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 okay, or la 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 la, academic, la 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 la, academic, okay? And this exercise can be useful for feeling the rhythm of the word without having to worry about everything else, like the sounds and the pronunciation of it, when you're just focusing specifically on the rhythm, okay? So we now know that there's 4 syllables, and the stressed syllable is dem. So academic, academic. Just for your reference, to get a little bit more advanced here, there's 4 syllables in the word, there's 1 stressed syllable, there's 2 unstressed syllables, and there's 1 weak syllable. Okay, a weak syllable is a very, very unstressed syllable. It normally contains a schwa sound or no vowel sound at all. Okay, so if I say the word one more time, have a listen here for what you can identify as the weak syllable. Academic, academic, academic. Okay, can you hear that the weak syllable is ka, aka, aka, aka? It's actually just the schwa sound, but we release the K at the beginning of the next syllable, so it might be easier to think of it as ka, academic, okay? Academic, academic. So that's the first thing. Sounds. Is anyone having difficulty with the sounds in this word? Because at this stage in the British Accent Method process for mastering a word, what we would then do is look at the sounds in this word, and when I work through this process with people in my coaching program, I would identify any sounds that they're having difficulty with, and then show them how to pronounce the sound like a native in this word. From my perspective, this word isn't necessarily that hard. I think what's going to catch most people out is the rhythm of the word. But essentially, excuse me a second. what we want to make sure is that academic, for the vowel sound, which is the first vowel sound in this word, people often find this vowel sound quite similar to the vowel sound and also to the vowel sound. So let me just tell you how to make the vowel sound just like a native in English. I'm going to use the finger technique, which is a technique I created in the British accent method for non-native English speakers to immediately be able to identify the correct position of a vowel sound in your mouth. Okay, so for the vowel sound, we're going to want 3 fingers to be able to fit between our lips width-wise, like this. Our lips are very wide. Okay, There's space for at least 3 fingers in between my lips. And then height-wise, and this is the important bit. Height-wise, there's space for 2 fingers in between my teeth. Academic, 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 academic. Okay? And finally, my tongue, is right behind my front teeth, academic, which means it's a front vowel sound. Okay? The finger technique is very important for helping to identify between sounds that you might find very similar in English, like feet and fit, or cart and cut, or can't and cunt, which I shouldn't really say because it's a very rude word, but it's a good example that you don't want to mix up. The finger technique makes it immediately possible to feel how vowel sounds should be in your mouth correctly. Because, for example, I'm working with one lady from Korea at the moment, and she was finding the vowel sound, as in tech, very similar to the vowel sound, as in tack. But after I showed her how to feel the difference using the finger technique, is 2 fingers, is space for 1.5 fingers, she was very, very quickly able to see the difference and then use the correct vowel sound in the words that she was using in her university studies, which was really important for her. Okay, so academic. Does anyone have any questions with how to pronounce this word so far? We know where the stressed syllables are. We know the weak syllable. We know how many syllables are in the word. If no one has any more questions about how to pronounce this word, which is what would be this next step in the British accent method process for mastering words, the next step is to then actually look at how to take this word and then actually integrate it into your English like a native. Okay? That's going to involve connected speech, it's going to involve rhythm, and it's going to involve intonation. Okay? And essentially, when you join the British Accent Method coaching program, which helps you go from fluent English speaker to native English speaker in 3 months, the way that we really build you a native English operating system, which makes it much easier for you to improve your pronunciation so quickly, is by focusing on the way that you speak the language. I call it the native English operating system. And some of the elements of that are what we're going to look at now. Okay, there's a lot more to it than this, but for now I just want to give you immediate results and improvements that you can take away today and start implementing into your English right away. And this framework that I'm giving you today is, you can apply this to any word in English. Okay, so from after you've watched this training till the end today, you're going to know how to take this training and apply it to any framework, any word you want in English for the rest of your life. Okay, so it's 45 minutes, half an hour, very, very well spent. Okay, so let's now get into how to use this word in real English. Okay. So, in English, the way that we use words in real speaking is different to how we'd use the word on its own. Okay, so for example, if someone said to me, what does this say? Like someone put the word academic in the comments. I read that word on its own, academic, okay, like that. If I use the word in real English speech though, things change about the word. Things change about how I pronounce certain bits of the word. And as a result of that, it's very, very important that you know these things. If not, even if you can pronounce the words clearly, you still might pronounce it unclearly when you actually go to use it in your English. And that will make you lack confidence and maybe get asked to repeat yourself, which could make you doubt yourself, and that's what we don't want. We're here to give you confidence like a native, so let's do it. So the first thing we need to be aware of about this word is how connected speech affects this word when we use it in a phrase, because we don't normally speak in individual words on their own. Normally we speak in phrases, okay? So at the beginning of this word and the end of this word, connected speech could affect the sounds of this word, okay? Hey from Vietnam, thanks for tuning in. And Prashish from India, great to have you here as well, okay? I'm not going to go off topic now because I just want to go straight through this training to give you as much value as quickly as possible. I respect your time and I want to just give you value, okay? So I'm not going to answer questions yet unless they're directly relevant to what we're talking about here, okay? So academic, the final sound in this word is the K sound, okay? Which when it's pronounced at the beginning of a word, like car, if you put your hand in front of your mouth and say car, there's a thing called aspiration, which some languages have, like English. Chinese languages have it, but lots of languages don't have it. A big puff of air in English comes out your mouth when you say this word. In many languages, Indian languages, lots of European languages, Russian, tons of languages all around the world, if you say the k sound, you're not going to have aspiration there, where there's a big puff of air coming out your mouth at the beginning, okay? So in English, there is aspiration on this sound, but only when it comes at the beginning of a syllable. So when the K sound comes at the end of the word, there's not aspiration, and we don't release the sound with a plosive explosion like we would if the K sound came at the beginning of the word. So if I said the word car, you'll feel a big puff of air come out your mouth. Car, you can even see my lip moving when I do it. Car. At the end of the word, this doesn't happen. Academic, 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 okay? Either there's a very, very, very subtle release, academic, or there's no release at all, academic, okay? But what we don't want to have happen is academic, because if I do that, then I'm doing what I explained is a mistake earlier on in the training, which is adding an extra syllable to this word, academic, which we don't want to do, okay? So in connected speech, here's how you now take this word and master it in any situation in connected speech, okay? And this is very, very, very important, so listen up if you want confidence, okay? There are two kinds of words in English, words that begin with a vowel sound and words that begin with a consonant sound. And depending on which word comes after the word academic in a phrase will depend on the connected speech that we apply to this word. Okay, so really when you're practicing this word or any word that you're applying this framework to in your English, there's two things that you want, there's two ways that you want to practice this word in connected speech. The first way is when there's a word that begins with a vowel sound after this word. And the second way is when a word begins with a consonant sound after this word, because the laws of connected speech, or the rules of connected speech, are different. And what might happen is you might find that you can pronounce it confidently and clearly when a word begins with a vowel sound afterwards, but if you can't pronounce it confidently and clearly with a word that begins with a consonant sound afterwards, or a vowel sound, the other one, then it's still going to affect your confidence, okay? So let's say academic studies. But what we're going to say is academic studies are hard. We'll say that, okay, for now. Academic studies are hard. There's quite a few university professors that I work with in my pronunciation coaching program, international professors that are working at university coaching programs. So if any of you are watching this today, you may or may not agree with me that academic studies are hard. I find them quite hard, but I know that you're experts, so you probably find them a lot easier than I do. So the reason why I wanted to use this word next, academic studies, is we now have two consonants coming together in connected speech. Okay, So what we need to look at, okay, is what happens in connected speech when a K sound and an S sound come together. Academic studies, okay? That's different to what we'll look at in a moment, which is what happens when a word that begins with a vowel sound comes towards, okay? So I'm going to come close to the camera, and this might not look very nice, but I'm doing this so you can see exactly what happens, okay? I want you to see inside my mouth. Academic. In this example, my tongue is going into the K position, which means the back of the tongue comes up and touches the back of the mouth. Academic. And then what would normally happen is if the word next one was with a vowel sound, I'd release the K into the next vowel sound. However, here, what happens is I go academic, and then my mouth closes to make the S sound before I properly release the K. So if I say it slowly, you hear that there's a subtle release of K, academic. It almost sounds a little bit like not kiss, almost like I'm hitting a cymbal on a drum kit. But that K is very subtle. It's not a strong K, it's not a fully released K, it's academic. I'm simply releasing my tongue from the K position into the S. It's hard for me to show you this properly inside my mouth because the mouth is closed when I do this transition, but academic. Let me just zoom in again. Academic. So there's literally about 1 millimeter between my teeth when I release the K into the S position. But the important thing here is that the S position, there's more, the S sound is made more to do with the front of your tongue than with the back of your tongue. The front of my tongue is like this for the S sound. So what happens is when I go into the K position at the back of my mouth, the front of my tongue is already gearing up for the S sound, but it's not making any S sound noise. And then when my mouth closes, so it's in the right position for me to make the S sound, then what happens is I can release the K, but I'm releasing it right into the S sound, which is how I can then use this in connected speech. So if I do it slowly, it's academic studies, academic studies, academic studies, okay? And you should be able to hear a tiny release of airflow there, but you might not be able to. And if I said this very quickly, academic studies, then it might be that I don't really release the K sound at all in the mouth, just essentially make the K position, but then just let the tongue drop as I make the S sound without any kind of K release at all, okay? Once you start doing this quickly and you know how to apply the techniques at speed, certain things kind of, there's like certain things where there's multiple ways of doing it correctly, where it doesn't really matter. But to be able to do that, we need to get you to that stage where you know what those techniques are and you have confidence doing them slowly so that you can do them quickly, correctly, okay? So the phrase I want to say is, we'll use a different phrase. We'll say, I enjoy academic studies. I enjoy academic studies, okay? And then the other thing that we need to look at is, or we want to be aware of, is how do we apply connected speech to the beginning of this word, where the first sound in this word is a vowel sound. We've already looked at that, academic studies. So if we're gonna say, I enjoy academic studies, what we've got there is we've got a vowel sound at the end of the word enjoy, which then affects how we pronounce the vowel sound at the beginning of academic, okay? I enjoy academic studies, all right? So to be confident using connected speech at the beginning of this word, we then need to look at, okay, well, there's two sounds there. There's at the beginning of academic, and there's oi, the oi diphthong, at the end of the word enjoy. So what happens in connected speech when you have an oi diphthong followed by an a vowel sound? You get what's essentially a bit like a connecting y vowel sound. And the reason why is because when you come out of an E position, which is what happens at the end of the oi diphthong, when you release that into a vowel sound in connected speech, you get a kind of y semi-vowel vowel sound, which kind of sounds, well, it sounds a bit like the y consonant in English, okay? I recently did a training, a Zoom coaching call for professionals in my British Accent Method coaching program, where I worked with everyone on that call. It was like a 2.5 hour call, it was long, and helped everyone to work out for themselves, should they be able to feel a connecting y sound there or not? Because for some people, it helped them to imagine there was a y sound connecting these two words. For others, it helped them to not imagine that there was a connecting y sound and for it just to happen naturally, okay? So when you're practicing this right now, you might find it easier to imagine that there is a connecting y sound, or you might find it easier to imagine that there isn't a connecting y sound. But from a connected speech standpoint, without giving you one-to-one feedback, I'm going to just imagine that it's easier for you to imagine that there is a connecting y vowel sound, okay? Because that helps you to see how you can connect this. So the two syllables that we're looking at connecting at the beginning of this word are oi, enjoy, and a, enjoy academic, okay? Now, if you are struggling to say this without pausing, here's what I want you to do, okay? And there's lots of people watching this that will be struggling to say enjoy academic without pausing between these two words or these two syllables. And you might feel like you're choking in English when you try and do this without pausing. When you try and use connected speech in English, a lot of people who I work with who are very good English speakers already feel like they're choking when they try to use connected speech. And I have some techniques that I use to help people stop feeling like they're choking almost immediately. I won't give them all to you today, but I'll give you one. And this is a way that you can immediately apply connected speech to this word in English. And what we want to do is, don't worry about saying enjoy academic for now. There's too much going on there. If you're struggling to use oi, a in connected speech, I just want you to add the a syllable in the next word onto the end of enjoy. So you're going to say enjoy, 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 enjoy. I want you to do that, and just imagine that a is an extra syllable on the end of enjoy, okay? You can do that. Just imagine that that's one long word, enjoyer, okay? There will be examples of words that have that kind of thing in them anyway in English. So I just want you to imagine that that's one word, because that's going to then immediately remove the pause that you might otherwise be struggling to say this connected speech junction with, okay? And if you're still struggling now to say enjoy, there's two things. One, try and do it without breaking the airflow. And you can do that with a British accent method technique called the singing technique, where we essentially sing this. Enjoy, 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 okay? Enjoy. That should help you to do this without pausing. If you still can't do it, I'm not going to do this now, but there's another British accent method technique called the whisper technique, where we whisper it, and that is a way that clients of mine find it very, very, very quickly and easily effective to remove pauses that they're otherwise struggling to remove in English. But if you use these two techniques I've just given you here to remove the pause, you should now be able to say enjoyer without the pause in between the two words, okay? So now, if we say enjoy academic, what we want to do is gradually add in the rest of the syllables in this word to build out both words. So enjoy academ, stress syllable, enjoy academic. Okay, and then we've already looked at the connected speech between k and s. So enjoy academics, enjoy academic studies. Okay. And there was another bonus tip I was going to give you there. What was it? Just building this up one syllable at a time is very important to ensure that you maintain that high level of quality. Okay, because a classic mistake that people make, and I'm guilty of this too when I'm speaking other languages, is trying to say everything at 100 miles an hour right away. Whereas if you want to maintain that quality and learn it correctly with high quality and then say it perfectly for the rest of your life, it's worth just building it up one syllable at a time and getting it right as you build up each syllable at a time, because it just makes it so much easier to focus on each new bit there and make sure that you're maintaining that high level of quality. Okay, so we're now at enjoy academic studies. All right, and what you can do is, I have another technique called the long word technique, which is where essentially you imagine a phrase that you want to say without pausing in connected speech. And you imagine, you just close your eyes and imagine that that long phrase is one long word. There's a word in English that's, I'm not sure exactly what the word means, but it's something like flocky knocking the hillipafillipicationism. It's like just a lot of syllables, as you just heard, flocky knocking the hillipafillipicationism. And that word is about as long as me saying, I want to go to the shops today. It's the same length as that me saying, I want to go to the shops today. Flocky knocking a hillipafillipicationism, right? If I say flocky knocking a hillipafillipicationism, I don't pause. If I say I want to go to the shops today, I don't pause. There's no need for me to pause if I want to use native connected speech, which is what I'm doing when I'm saying that phrase. So one reason why people naturally pause unnaturally in English is because they're thinking of English in terms of individual words rather than thoughts, or, well, a thought, which is essentially a group of words that we express as one in English. So when I say I want to go to the shops today, I'm not thinking I want to go to the shops today. It's just one thought. And each thought in English, we should aim to be able to say with complete connected speech without pausing. And a way to make it much easier to conceptualize and imagine this is to use the long word technique, which is just to imagine that the phrase that you want to say, the idea that you want to express through a group of words in English, is one long word. And if you do that, yes, you will still need to apply, or you may still need to apply some of the individual techniques I've just given you, but this is a way to, it's a concept, it's a way to conceptualize the phrase without pauses, okay? And because I do this all the time with people in my coaching program, I can say this with a lot of confidence. And I see the difficulties that people have with this all the time. Even if you can imagine it as one long phrase or one long word, there probably will still be certain pauses that you make without even realizing it, that you won't notice unless you're doing it with someone like me working through it with you, or if you're doing it, saying it in front of a camera and recording yourself and then listening to it back. Listening to yourself back, if you're not working with a coach, is massively powerful, because you will identify in your own speaking where you're pausing or where there's mistakes. Some of my most successful clients, they record themselves all the time and they listen to themselves back. And as a result of that, the level of self-awareness they develop is so powerful that they're almost able to correct themselves in real time, or they become immediately aware that when they make a mistake, because their awareness is so good of their English just from having recorded themselves a lot. Okay, so this is a technique that I recommend. If you're committed, most people won't do this, but if you're committed and you really want to get the best from yourself and from your practice, then record yourself when you're practicing and listen to yourself back. That's how you're going to get the best self-awareness, which you want to be self-aware when you're speaking English, so that you know if you're doing things correctly and not doubting yourself, okay? Self-awareness enables you to have more confidence, and it enables you to avoid doubting yourself when you're speaking English, okay? So quick drink, then we'll carry on. Are you finding this useful, by the way? Let me know in the comments if you're finding this useful, and any questions that you've got specifically relevant to this training that we're doing today. Okay, I'm not going to answer questions on other topics because I just want to give you maximum value on this. And trust me, if you take this framework, you can apply this to any word in English, okay? And there's just one other thing I'll say that I didn't say at the beginning. The word that we used today was academic. And the reason why I didn't give you this step at the beginning of the training is because I was teaching you how to say the word academic. If I see people in the comments have asked how to pronounce certain words like clutter and I think breadth and a few others, the first step of this technique, if you're doing this on your own, is to go to what I would recommend is the Cambridge Dictionary. It's free to use online. And basically the way you do it is you type into Google the word that you want to learn how to pronounce, for example, clutter. Then you type in the word define. So you just type into Google clutter, define, and then Google will give you its own pronunciation of clutter. I don't recommend using that one. I recommend scrolling down Google, normally 2, 3 or 4 links, till you see dictionary.cambridge.com. I use the Cambridge Dictionary because it's a slightly more advanced pronunciation dictionary than the Oxford Dictionary and the other ones that other people often use. So my personal preference, especially if you're interested in the British accent, I recommend the Cambridge Dictionary, okay? So you go there, you then get the word that you want, so you'll get the phonetic spelling of clutter, and then you will then apply this framework that I've given you today to that to that word. Okay, and there's a few other steps that I'm not giving you today just because we don't have time, and also because I'm not working with you one-to-one. When I taught this framework to people in my coaching program, it was on a Zoom call, so I was actually working through this framework with each of them on words that they found challenging so that they could see how to immediately apply it right away. I can't do that certain things with you today because we're not on a Zoom call, so it's just not possible for me to give you certain elements of it. I hope that makes sense, but even so, I'm still giving you like 95% of this strategy that you can take away and apply for yourself, okay? Because I just want you to feel confident. So where are we now? We've looked at how many syllables in the word, the stressed syllables and the weak syllables. We've looked at how to apply connected speech to the beginning of the word. We've looked at how to apply connected speech to the end of the word. What that means is we can now take this word and fully integrate it into a phrase. I'm not going to do it now because I've already done it twice, but what I would also recommend you're doing if you're looking at a new word is the phrase that we used was "I enjoy academic studies," where we had a vowel sound combination at the beginning of the connected speech of the word, and we had a consonant, 2 consonants in the 2 words, or the 2 sounds at the end of the word and the beginning of the next word. I would also recommend then taking this word academic and putting it into a different phrase where you have a word that begins with a vowel sound afterwards in connected speech. For example, academic aficionados love studying. Okay, that's my example. Academic aficionados love studying. I would also practice this word with a word that comes after it that begins with a vowel sound, and the reason why is because the connected speech that applies there again is different to academic studies. It's more like when you have a vowel at the beginning of one word and a consonant at the beginning of the end a consonant at the end of the word that comes before it, there's a technique where the consonant of word 1 gets semi-released at the beginning of word 2. And I'm not going to go into that now, but again, you can I think I have some videos on YouTube teaching this. I do it in my linking speech playlist, so you can go there and watch that. Or if you want comprehensive training, then just join my program, BritishAccentMethod.com, and go to course. That's what the whole program is kind of built around. Yeah, that's the connected speech element of it. Okay, so now I'm going to go through the body of the training quite quickly because we've already been going for 45 minutes, but there's 2 more points that I want you to be aware of to have 100% confidence with this framework to apply to any word in English, okay? The first one is sentence rhythm or sentence stress, okay, however you want to look at it. When we speak English, we put more emphasis on the words that convey the primary meaning of the phrase, the idea. So remember how I said in English we talk in ideas, we don't talk in individual words. I want to go to the shops today. Okay, if I say that phrase, I want to go to the shops today, there's a few words in that phrase that carry more meaning than everything else, okay? I want to go to the shops today. I want to go to the shops today. Want, shops, I want to go to the shops today. And probably today, want, shops today. If I just said those three words to you, if I didn't know any English grammar, but I knew how to say want, shops today, you could probably guess that I wanted to go to the shops today, right? So what we tend to do in English is in any phrase that we say, in any idea that we express, there's a primary meaning that we're trying to express through the words that we use. And depending on which words we stress, will actually change the meaning of the phrase, or it can do. It doesn't always, but it can do, okay? So if I said, I want to go to the shops today, that conveys a very slightly different meaning compared to if I said, I want to go to the shops today. Okay, the overall meaning is the same, but there's certain kind of implied meanings below the surface due to how I'm stressing the phrase, okay? Again, this is all very much to do with building your native English operating system because the native operating system of English is very different to the native operating system of your native language. And it's by understanding how to build your own native English operating system that you can do this stuff very, very quickly, and it just becomes your natural way of speaking English, which is how you're going to speak English like a native and how you can do it in 3 months, essentially. That's what my program helps you to achieve, depending on how much time you can commit to the process. But what was I going to say? I've drawn a blank now. Yeah, so the rhythm, we want to stress the words that enable us to convey the idea, the meaning that we're wanting to express. So if we go back to the word academic, okay, I'm going to change, shall I change the meaning of the, no, we'll keep it the same. So if I said, I love academic studies, okay, I love academic studies, that's now the new phrase. I love academic studies, okay? There's more stress on love there, how I said it there, than the other words. I love academic studies. I love academic studies. Can you hear that love was a bit louder and a bit more stressed than the other words? I love academic studies. I love academic studies. However, the other way around, if I said, I love academics, let me just think about this. I want to make sure I'm telling you correctly. If I put more stress on academic, I love academic studies, for example, I love academic studies. Instead of putting love on, instead of putting the stress on love, I put more stress on academic, it changes the meaning a little bit, and it implies more that I love academic studies as opposed to, say, non-academic studies, or, I don't know, like musical studies, which might not be academic, okay? So we want to, and again, this is a very personal thing, but it can also help, and I focus on this very much in my program when we're building your native English operating system, how to make sure that you're stressing the words in the phrase that you want to be stressing to give the right meaning, okay? So, but basically, essentially, here's how to think of it. If you could only stress 1, 2, or 3 words in your phrase, and or let me rephrase that. Imagine you knew no grammar. You only knew like basic words, some nouns, some adjectives, and some verbs. Okay. If you said want go shops, or I want shops, I could probably understand what you mean. It just wouldn't be grammatically correct. Okay. The words that you generally want to stress in English are the words which, if you only knew those words and said them, would still convey the meaning of the sentence without the grammar. So want go shops or I want shops is gonna, it still kind of gives the meaning of the sentence. So those are the words I want to stress. Does that make sense? Let me know if you have any questions. And thanks everyone, by the way, for liking this and sharing it. I really appreciate it. And I'm glad that means you're getting good value from it. I want you to be getting value from it because I know how powerful this framework is. And I work with my clients all the time to implement this framework, and it helps them a lot, okay? And I know that it can help you too. So that's rhythm. I'm not going to go into rhythm in more detail, but then finally, we have intonation. And there's 5 possible intonations in English, okay? I'm not going to go into all of them now, but I'm just going to go into the 2 most common ones that you might want to be aware of when using using this framework, okay? The 2 most common intonation patterns in English are rising and falling, okay? And I'm going to give you examples of both of these. So for example, we generally use a falling intonation pattern in English at the end of a phrase when we're trying to express finality, which indicates that we've come to the end of what we're saying, or certainty and confidence. For example, if you say to me, what's your name? If I say Michael, I'm confident that my name is Michael, so I'm going to use a downwards intonation, Michael. I'm not going to say Michael, because I'm confident I know what my name is, so I can say it with certainty, and for certainty we apply a downwards intonation, Michael, okay? And that downwards intonation is primarily applied, or a big part of it is applied on the stressed syllable in that word, which is Michael, okay? If I wasn't sure what my name was, I might use actually no, I'm not going to go into this one, but we'll skip this one. We're going to use, the rising intonation. The rising intonation usually implies there's more to come, okay? So this is applied a lot of the time in questions, not all the time in questions, but you often use this when you're asking a question. So if you said, if you were surprised, or you got some information that you weren't sure about. For example, if you said to me, what's the weather, what's the temperature today? And you were expecting it to be really cold where I am, and then I said, oh, it's 40 degrees hot. You might say 40 degrees, 40 degrees, 40 degrees, with an upwards intonation that would express that you would then expecting me to then give you more information. So if you use an upwards intonation in English, what that tells your listener is that you're expecting them to then give you some more information back based on what you've said. So if I said it's 40 degrees and you said 40 degrees, 40 degrees, that's essentially you asking me a question where you're saying, huh, tell me more, okay? So let's put this into the context of the phrase that we were looking at, which is I love academic studies. So right there, I just used a downwards intonation. And if I want to be, like if I'm telling the truth and I love academic studies and it's the truth, I'm confident about it and I know that it's the case, I'm going to use a downwards intonation on the phrase, I love academic studies. I love academic studies. I love academic studies. Using a downwards intonation here is great because it communicates confidence and certainty to you as my listener, which will give you more confidence in what I'm saying, okay? If I said to you, I love academic studies, that's almost, I would use that intonation if you said to me, oh, Michael, you love academic studies, don't you? And if I didn't, and I was like, I don't think so, I might say to you, I love academic studies, because something has told me there that that's not right. So I'm giving you the statement back as a question so that you will give me more information. Okay, so what I'm doing is by going up, I love academic studies, I'm asking you to give me more information as based on what you've said there. Okay, so the reason why this is important is because, one, if you're using the wrong intonation, it can come across as rude. I was working with a client, I won't say from where once, but I was working with a client from one country, and she was saying that people used to find her rude, even though she was intending, she was being nice, she thought she was being nice. And what we discovered was it was to do with her intonation patterns, and she was always using a downwards intonation. That downwards intonation is good for being confident and certain, but because it can also indicate finality, if I'm having a conversation with you, usually conversations, you know, we're engaging, and if every time I say anything, I use a downwards intonation, that's always expressing sort of confidence, but also can express finality. And if I express finality in every time we're having a conversation, it can imply that I don't really want to talk to you. Whereas in any conversation, I'm probably going to ask you some questions, you're going to ask me some questions, I'm going to say something where I want you to give me information back, and the upwards intonation is very, very frequently the intonation pattern we use to get you to do that. Hence why I would use a rising intonation pattern. Okay, so practicing the phrase I've just given you here, I love academic studies. With two intonation patterns, studies and studies. Can you just feel how those two phrases feel very different due to the changing intonation patterns? I hope you can, because this makes a really, really big difference. And you really want to, if you really want to be able to communicate, especially subverbally at a high level, which is, it might be important if you're giving presentations at university, or if you're giving presentations in boardrooms or in meetings, or if you're hiring, or if you're going to job interviews, or if you're a manager. In my coaching program, we have managers, university lecturers, people that give presentations, CEOs, and people that do a lot of hiring. So these are people that need to speak English very confidently at a high level. Often they're hiring or managing or presenting to native English speakers. So these like higher levels of English pronunciation, which I see as your native English operating system, are very important to communicate, you know, at the highest level possible, which is going to give you the maximum confidence possible. Okay, so let's summarize. Here's the framework you can apply to master any word in English like a native. Now, if you want to, you can work with me in my British Accent Method coaching program, where we build you your native English operating system, and then you master native pronunciation of all the frequently used words you use every day. Plus you get tons and tons of other benefits, including my regular Zoom coaching calls where you work with me directly. But whether you're in the program or not, this framework, I want you to be very confident on how you can use immediately for yourself, so that you can go out and start using it today with any word that you want to pronounce confidently like a native. So let me just summarize the framework in a few simple steps now, okay? Step one is you take the word. So let me just see in the comments here, because I did see there was things coming in. Bilal, how to join the program. So if you go to britishaccentmethod.com, I'll see if I can get up for you here, britishaccentmethod.com, and then you just go to course, which is at the top of the website. Then there's that'll take you straight to the information page where you can join. Okay, I'm just going to see if I can get it up for you now. Just one sec. And just whilst, okay, no, we're there, cool. So I'm going to go, I'm on my tablet here, and I'm going to see if I can show you this. Just bear with me one sec. By the way, just whilst I get this up, does anyone have any questions? Because I'm going to summarize the framework for you now, but I also want to make sure that everyone's very confident about how you can apply what I've gone through today to your English, so that you can start speaking like a native immediately. Okay, so this is the website, how it looks on tablet. This is how it looks on desktop. If you just go to become a client, which is at the top here, or if you go to course, either way, it'll take you to the information page that just tells you everything you need to know about the program And then there's also a button there where you can join, sign up right away. And like I said, if you join before the end of the week, I'm going to give you an additional bonus to the bonuses that you already get when you join the program, where I'm going to personally analyze your pronunciation and tell you the simple steps that you can actually take, having been analyzed by me, that you can immediately create a breakthrough in your pronunciation. Okay, so when I work with new clients, I'm giving you this to you for free when you join the program, in addition to getting the actual program itself, plus my live Zoom coaching calls where you work with me directly, and tons of other benefits as well. So if you want to build a native English operating system and go from fluent to native in English, so you can speak English clearly, confidently, not doubt yourself, and essentially speak English with the personality, your real personality, but in English because you're confident, this is the program that's going to help you to achieve it. Okay, we've got professionals from all over the world, all different academic, professional backgrounds, and it's the place to be if you're serious about your English. If you're not serious, it's not the right program for you, but if you are serious, then check it out. It's going to get you the results you're looking for. Okay, and if not, then you get a 60-day money-back guarantee anyway. So if you join the program and you don't absolutely love it, then you just get a 100% refund. So there's literally no risk. The only risk for you is not joining the program and then continuing to not have the confidence that you desire and deserve in English. Okay, I believe you deserve confidence like a native. That's why I created this program. And if my program doesn't help you to achieve it, then I don't want your money and I'll give it to you back right away. No questions asked. Okay. So let's summarize this framework right away so you can take this and apply to any word that you want in English starting today. Step one is the word that you want to master. You look it up in the Cambridge Dictionary and you listen to how the Cambridge Dictionary pronounces it. The Cambridge Dictionary is free for you, there's no cost, and it will give you the phonetic spelling and the pronunciation that you can listen to of the word. You then, when you do that, you identify the stressed syllable and any weak syllables, and also how many syllables there are in the word. You also then ideally analyze yourself. Am I having difficulty with any of the sounds in this word? Okay, if you are, and you're not in my coaching program, then look at some of my many sound tutorials that I've got for free on YouTube. If you are in my coaching program, then you go to the sound modules that give you that guide you through how to master every sound in English in the fastest way and most effective way possible. But if not, just look at my tutorials on YouTube. There's stuff here that can still help you. Then from there, we take the word and we put it into at least 2 phrases, looking at connected speech at the back of the word, at the end of it, and the connected speech at the beginning of the word. And we apply the techniques we've looked at today to connected speech to enable you to essentially say this word in a phrase without pausing. The whisper technique, the singing technique, the syllable technique, and the one-word approach. These will all help you to pronounce this word without pausing, just like a native would. Then we look at, okay, what's the meaning that you're trying to express in this word? If you could only say a few words in this phrase and didn't know grammar, how would you stress what are those words that you would use to try to convey your meaning? Those are the words you generally want to stress in this phrase, okay? And then from there, you just look at intonation. Okay, do I want to say this phrase with a downwards intonation to express confidence, certainty, and finality? Or am I using it in more of a question-based context, or a context where I want to say the phrase, but in a way that's going to get someone to respond to me? For example, the weather's hot today oh no, that's a bad example. I love academic studies. That's getting you to respond to me compared to I love academic studies, which is just a statement, and that gives finality and it shows that I'm done. Okay, so take this framework and apply it to any word that you want to have confidence in. Like I said, I just did a 2-hour Zoom coaching call the other day with people in my coaching program, and we worked through every stage of this process with them live on the call. And these are very highly qualified professionals from all different backgrounds: university lecturers, pharmacists, business owners, accountants, financial managers, lawyers, all sorts of high-level professionals on the call, who are all having difficulties in English with various aspects of connected speech or the native, the thing that we do in the British accent method, which is build your native English operating system. By working through this framework with each of them on one of these, a word of their choosing from their academic profession, they could see how they could apply this framework to any word they wanted in English to pronounce it just like a native. And in the program, if you are interested, then there's all the training to actually help you master every element of this framework. So connected speech, rhythm, and also as a bonus, when you join my program, you get access to the world's first and only connected speech video pronunciation dictionary for a limited time. And that is something that I would normally sell for £295 on its own. It's the only connected speech video dictionary in the world that shows you how to take all the high frequency words you use every day, the words that form the foundation of English, and actually integrate them into your English like a native with the framework that we've just used today for each of the top 100 words in English, okay? So you get that as a free bonus when you join the course at the moment. If you're serious, if you are someone that even needs clear English for your career and your career growth, or for your social life, if you're living in the UK or you just have lots of English friends or English speaking friends, but you're not feeling confident speaking with them in your social life and you're not being your real self as a result of that, or if you're lacking confidence in your dating life and you're trying to date people in English and you're just feeling unattractive because of your pronunciation or because you're getting asked to repeat yourself, then that's not your fault, and I want you to have confidence like a native. And that's why I run this YouTube channel where I give away as much stuff as possible for free. But if you want a structured approach to just mastering pronunciation as quickly as possible, building your native English operating system and going from fluent English speaker to native English speaker in 3 months and just smashing through that plateau that you might have been stuck at for years, which is where you know English grammar, you know how to speak English, but your communication, your accent and your pronunciation is stopping you from getting to that next level, the British Accent Method program can help you. That's what it's there for. It gets results every time. It comes with a 100% money back guarantee. So after 60 days, if you're not blown away by your results, then I'll just give you your money back, because I do not want your money if my program does not give you confidence like a native. That's a fact, okay? The program works, it gets results. So if you want to, BritishAccentMethod.com, just go there and click on course or become a client. And I would love to see you in the program. I'd love to work with you. And just remember, if you join the program by the end of this week, I will personally analyze your pronunciation for you for free. As a bonus for joining the program. My time is normally £1,000 an hour these days for one-to-one coaching, especially if you're not in my coaching program. But I'm going to do this for you for free as a bonus for joining the program today. Okay, so just let me know in the comments now. How have you found this training? What's your main takeaway? By the way, the comments haven't been coming up on my screen as I've done this training. So if I've missed comments, I apologise. Although I did also just want to blast through this and give you as much value as possible today. So let's see here. Din, thank you for being on here. Kat from Vietnam, great to have you here. Pratush, thanks for joining today. Mustafa. Mustafa, it's the schwa sound at the beginning of official. Okay, it's not an o sound, it's official. But for any of the words that you've asked here today, again, the Cambridge Dictionary is where you can go to get native English pronunciation of these words. And then all you do is you apply the framework that I've given you today, and that's going to help you to achieve the results that you want, okay? Tanvi, great to have you here. What's right, British or American English? They're both right. Whichever one you want to speak is the right one. American English is correct. British English is correct. It's just which one you personally prefer. People that join my program generally prefer British English, although I do have people that live in America that join my program just because they prefer the British accent, or they like my method of teaching pronunciation and they can see how it gets them results like very quickly. But any Indian English is correct, American English is correct, South African English is correct, New Zealand English is correct, you know, English is correct, Scottish English, British English, Irish, Welsh English, they're all correct. There's not a right or wrong. There is different kinds of pronunciation, and in other countries, there's other words as well. But if you just want standard British pronunciation, and again, there's lots of different kinds of British pronunciation, but if you just want what's generally considered standard British pronunciation, then that's what I specialise in helping you to achieve, okay? Any other comments or question? Harry Potter inspired you to learn the British accent? Bilal, fantastic. I think he's done that for lots of people. I know quite a few people that have really learnt English by reading Harry Potter in English and watching the films. And I think that's helped a lot of people, so that's really good. Tanvi, so keep doing the work you're doing. There are many people whom are very helpful. Thank you very much, Tanvi. I really appreciate it. Thanks everyone for being here today and watching this. Do me a favour, share this video with one person that you know could benefit from having more confidence in English, or that you know likes English and would like to have more confidence, okay? That helps me out, but also the reason why I do this is to help other people out. So if you know anyone that could benefit from it, please do share it with them, and then we can help spread confidence in English. I have a mission to help over 1 million people remove 1,000 pronunciation mistakes from their life in English, which is 1 billion English pronunciation mistakes and frustrations gone. I call it my Fighting for Your Confidence mission in English. It's why I do this. It's because I want you to speak English with confidence like a native. Yeah, folks, I'm going to leave it there. I've been talking for over an hour now, and my voice is starting to hurt. It's been great talking to you. Thank you so much for joining me on this framework. Use this framework to master native pronunciation of any word you want in English, okay? Use it for connected speech. Use it to speak English truly like a native, not just with the words, but with the ideas and the speech that you want to use, and I guarantee it's going to get you the most amazing results, okay? So thanks very much. If you're interested in joining my course, just head to the link britishaccentmethod.com, and then just click on course, and if you join by Sunday, you get that bonus of me analysing your pronunciation. And it's been a pleasure speaking to you today, and I will see you very, very soon. There's new videos coming out as well. I've just been very busy recently, so I've not been able to edit them. And I've got someone else that's editing videos for me, but they're just not ready yet. So they'll be here very soon, so keep an eye out. Make sure you've subscribed and turned notifications on if you want to be notified when those videos come out. If you don't, then don't obviously, but if you do, then turn notifications on. And I'm fighting for your confidence in English. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you very, very soon. Cheers.